With each episode of Horrified, we laugh, we cringe, we cover our eyes in embarrassment. Sometimes we even cower in fear over the outrageous true stories that we just heard. But tonight we bring you something completely different. A story so personal that it's impossible to do a typical introduction for. He's an actor, he's a musician, he's an icon, he's a friend. But most importantly, he's a beloved member of our Arescope family, Mr. Sid Haig.
I know you're expecting some crazy wild shit from me, but I'm not going to give it to you. Today I'm going to go 180 degrees in the other direction and tell you something that's really serious and was really horrifying to me and my whole family. It's a story about my dad. He was a great guy, intelligent, funny, hardworking. And one of his habits is like whenever he finished eating, he'd reach for the toothpick container and pick his teeth, and that was it. So one morning after breakfast, he reached for the toothpicks and dropped it on the table. He reached and he picked it up and he dropped it again. And he fumbled with it for a little while, and he went to pick his teeth and he dropped it. And he started feeling that his fingertips were a little numb. He was pressing his fingers and really not getting any kind of feeling at all. And my mom got really worried because he'd already had a quadruple bypass. So smartly, she called 911 and they came, took him to the hospital. Then she called me and told me what was going on. And he was diagnosed with Guillain-Barré. I know it's a rare disease. And basically what it does is attack your nervous system, your complete nervous system. Within 24 hours, he was completely paralyzed, had no control over involuntary muscles. He couldn't blink, he couldn't swallow, he couldn't sneeze, he couldn't do anything that you would just normally do. And I went into the hospital to find my father lying motionless in bed, staring at the ceiling because he had no control over his ocular muscles either. And he had a pair of goggles on because he couldn't blink. They didn't want his eyes to dry out. And he had every life-saving device possible hooked up to him. And this went on for 31 days. It was so stressful and so debilitating, and you just couldn't do, there wasn't anything that you could do. After 31 days of that, the doctor came to me and he said, "Well, Sid, your father's had a long and fruitful." I said, "Stop it. Until he checked into this hospital, you wouldn't know my father if you tripped over him. So you're supposed to be the whiz kid in this hospital. Fix him." And he went, "What?" I said, "You heard me. Fix him." He said, "Well, I've done everything I know how to do." I said, "Then do something different." And I turned my back on him and walked away. The next morning, he came to me and he said, "I thought a lot about what you had to say yesterday, and I've come up with something." And I said, "Well, will it kill him?" He said, "It might." I said, "Well, you've already pronounced him dead. Will it fix him?" He said, "It might." I said, "Then do it." So what he came up with was plasmapheresis. Now, plasmapheresis is like the dialysis for the circulatory system. It takes the blood and cleans it. They put the plasma back in, pint after pint after pint. And after 3 days of that, he started to get some movement in his fingers. And he could actually look from side to side. And he started coming back. And life-saving device after life-saving device started getting removed from him. And after 2 weeks of physical therapy, when they wheeled him out to the curb, he got out of the wheelchair, walked to the car. My mom drove him home, got out of the car and walked into the house. Unfortunately, the 31 days in intensive care really took a lot out of him. and 2 weeks later he was back in the hospital. I got a call from the doctor, and he said, your father's in bad shape, and your mother is completely uncontrollable. She cannot deal with this, and so she's passed it off to you. What do you want me to do? And this was the hardest decision I ever had to make in my life. But I said, he told me when he got out to please not make him go through that again. So if you can make him comfortable and sedate him, just let him go. And that was it. I'm not doctor bashing. I'm just asking you to force your doctor to be as good as he can be. I love you.